Hello indie game fans! July 2019 had 657 new releases on Steam, and I'm happy to say that the number of titles that I missed has reduced, so that's a good thing. But I did miss out on some surprise releases, as well as free-to-play games, so here are the indie game new releases that I missed in July 2019. XANARTHRAXIA is perhaps the most difficult to pronounce game title of the month, but certainly has an impressive visual style. The 2-bit color scheme is something which I appreciate, having seen some other examples on Twitter, but this is a casually competitive RPG clicker where you have to match symbols to the prompts on screen. Simple gameplay, so I hope it has deeper systems. Come Back Chapter 1 is a point-and-click adventure game that tackles the heavy subject of domestic violence. If anything, the color palette makes it stand out, so we'll see how this project turns out in the long run. Falnarion Tactics II is a turn-based tactics game which, of course, looks to be heavily inspired by Fire Emblem. The original was decently received, but also lacking in user reviews, i.e. it didn't sell all that well, but get your tactics fix with this. The very XCOM-like Galaxy Squad hit 1.0 in July after a relatively short early access period and introduces the FTL-like element of node-based exploration. Pretty good core systems, but it does look a little like lo-fi XCOM. Nocked, True Tales of Robin Hood is a very text-heavy RPG where you step into the shoes of Robin Hood, retelling the classic tale but with a little fudging of details. Gather gold and men to rob from the rich and give to the poor. Somehow there are base building elements in this as well, and the art and music seems impressive. Master of the Forbidden Sea is a survival RPG that has you exploring the Triangle of Doom, diving for treasure and fending off sea monsters, skeletons and zombies. Looks like an interesting, smaller title. Seed Hunter is a sleek-looking roguelike platformer with impressive slashing animations. This looks nice and even has RPG systems, but I'll wait a little more for development to proceed. JumpHead Battle for Fun is a local multiplayer game that has you jumping on the heads of your enemies. There are 13 game modes and 26 bonus item pickups, so it looks fun and frantic. Another title which I'm very excited to finally see on Steam is Founder's Fortune, a fantasy colony simulator where you gather resources, farm, craft, research and defend your base. This has been kicking around in alpha for a little while, so glad to finally see it on Steam where more people can hopefully find it. Looks great so far.
Ah, there you are, Ethan. Been looking everywhere for you. Listen, how long have you been working jobs for me now? Between the New London military, upping their interest in occupying the lower city, and the increase in strange disappearances as well, I imagine you'll be wanting to leave. Yes, I heard about your plans to take it to the other city. You always did dream big.
Dreams of Solari Chapter 1 is a cyberpunk-themed tech hex-based RPG with a ton of world building and lore. Play as a low-level mercenary trying to stay alive in the dangerous parts of New London, trying to earn money to escape the death trap that is the Low City. The fiction and world looks very impressive.
They built it with the Texans, yet left the citizens to die. They called it the Great New Opportunity. It was more like a great disease-filled murder pit. And so the city became split. Although we are kept and work for resources. And the outcome, by the military and others, down. Holding us to the goals that fuel their opulent lives, property of our misery. So what do you say? How about it? One last job. After all, what do you have to lose?
GunFu Heroes is another local multiplayer combat game, but rather than being a platformer, this instead is from the top-down perspective and has a nice variety of weapons to choose from.
They call it the Great Iron Race, the government's proclamation that they'll pay an enterprising rail line a king's ransom to be the first to link the rich coastal harbors with the struggling frontier. Understandably, such an offer didn't go unnoticed with those in the iron horse business, legitimate and unscrupulous alike. You see plenty of marshals and sheriffs on the coast, but leave the comfort and security of its shores. You'll understand why they call it the Wild West. So build fast, watch your income and expenses, and make sure you let the bandits, thieves, and desperados know you believe in the rule of law.
LocoMotives is a free Western-themed digital board game where you have to build the town, lay tracks, and fight off bandits, self-described as Ticket to Ride crossed with Catan. This seems to be a promotional game in advance of their Kickstarter for the physical version, so not too bad for a free thing.
At your service. I have arrived. Is that it?
To Battle, Hell's Crusade is a hex-based strategy game where you have to lead the Holy Army to fight against the March of Evil. I like the utilization of miniatures in this. Outpost Zero hit 1.0 and is a multiplayer first-person survival base builder that does seem very much like Factorial, although with less of a focus on the pure building and construction bits. For more upcoming indie game new releases, check out the previous video or click on the recommended playlist, and I will see you after the jump.